definitely the 8-point agenda actually speaks to Nigerians' problem, because you see that most of the challenges we are facing now are being captured in the 8-point agenda. In the area of food security, has already declared emergency for food security in terms of poverty eradication, though I like to call it poverty reduction, because I don't think we can eradicate poverty in Nigeria maybe in the next 30 years. Also, he made mention of financial inclusion and access to capital. But like you rightly mentioned, access to capital remain very, very fundamental and vital tools to really engender development in any economy, and to really create access to capital. A lot of things need to put in place. You agree with me that about 80% employment that is available in Nigeria is by small and medium scale enterprises. So because of that, there's need for us to create room for access for capital. Access for capital not only even help this MSME only, it will also create room for innovation, even bringing up of new products. But what is our challenges in terms of getting capital in Nigeria? If you look at it critically, now we need to go to bank to access capital, but accessing capital needs you to have collateral. And if you look at collateral that they mostly ask for, it to be a physical collateral. So how will someone who have an intellectual property, you know, people like Elon Musk and a lot of them globally have partnership of their country to really bring all their intention and their innovation to bear? So I think we must go beyond physical infrastructure. I recall there was a time that they said every citizen or a youth corps member who want to access loan can submit their discharge certificates and get some loans by the time they return. No, these are part of the things that we need. So we must be creative. CBN alongside Nigerian banks must be creative to request for kind of collateral. So it must not be physical collateral. There could be different reasons. In fact, a chief in a particular environment, maybe a traditional ruler, can be a collateral, can sign for some people, and they will ensure that they actually use things judiciously. So for us to really get access to capital as expected to engender development, there must be another creativity towards provision of collateral.
Now, another issue is that of interest rates. We are seeing soaring interest rate all over the world, and Nigeria is no exception. There's there's also the possibility that with the inflation rate we've seen, the CBN might likely increase the interest rate. But how do you see this playing out? Should now the government step in through its intervention, like we've seen in the past, maybe through CBN intervention, to maybe give out accessible loans at the single digit interest rate?
You know, there's a lot of problem facing the manufacturing sector and also MSME. Among them is interest rate, inflation rate. You also see tax is a problem. We have multiplicity of taxation. You also see that energy costs is another problem. You can also see forex problem. So these are a lot of problems that I need to look at properly, because if you are going to go for loan, these are the things we compare. Because if you look at the MPR, about 18.5 or so, and if you look at that, that will discourage every person that wants to go to bank to get loans. So I think the government can also create an avenue whereby people can access loan that will be single digits. So if you are MSME and you are in this particular sector, there will be a window for you to access loan at this digit, because government must come to terms and understand that beyond you being in business or regulating business, you must also partner people to survive in their business. So I think there could be a window to provide that, perhaps for manufacturing sector, for me, for us to grow and beyond 75 billion for 75 manufacturing sector, we must also create a window for manufacturing sector to access loan.
Sorry, let me say this. I think previously we've seen government also cutting the CRR from over 30% to 10%, just to increase. Just to encourage investment in the real sector. How do you think that will help out in access to capital?
If you ask me, this current government have signals of positivity towards all this industry. But what we only need is that policy must be very, very strategic, and they must be able to really operationalize this policy, because most of these policies, they are there, but people cannot even access, and it's not well operationalized. But for in terms of signal, you could see that the solid mineral are looking at way to really encourage people to come into the business, telling people that go and form cooperative. From there you can access a kind of loan and whatever. So there is effort, but we want it to be much more operational.
That's the traditional way of accessing loan, right?
Pardon?
That's the traditional way of accessing loan, right?
Well, it's the best way, and to make sure people are committed.
I'm referring to a situation whereby people can now bring out their savings from a cooperative, save some money. Then, well, let's just move on. Government is looking to convince owners of huge bank deposits to invest in the economy, as well as foreign direct investments. What do you think about this plan?
I think that's the best way to go for Nigeria economy, because if you ask me, most people, maybe like the well-known people that invested in Nigeria, for those people that invest in Nigeria, you discover that they really helped a whole lot. So I think our political leaders, our leaders, in terms of people that are much wealthy, should come on board and invest their money. You know, when you invest your money, you create a lot of opportunity. Perhaps you also get much more ROI, you know, return on investment. So I think that's the best way. So if the president can also lead by example, I think that will be happy. That will help. Perhaps if you look at our current president, he has a lot of investment already in Nigeria. I think with that body language, he can go ahead to encourage these people to also invest in Nigeria, and that will also bring in more foreign direct investment.
But what about the risk of mismanagement?
Well, the risk of mismanagement depends on the manager of it as well, because when you are giving such a thing, you have to make it much more organized. If it is well organized, it will definitely be well managed. So when Dangote has been existing in Nigeria for long, a lot of them have been existing in Nigeria for long, and their businesses are well managed. So if we structure the business properly, I think we can achieve the expected result.
Now, financial inclusion is another thing. What stones are still unturned to achieve financial inclusion in the country, especially in the northern part of the country?
If you ask me generally, I think in terms of financial inclusion, Nigeria has tried to an extent, and we can give credit to that CBN for the financial inclusion, because you could see that people access and there is availability of a way of maybe getting their money or depositing their money through different platforms. You could see that we have local retail outlets of different of different financial institutions. Some are not even brick and mortar. They don't have a physical bank office, but people access things. But what I think we should do more is that maybe we should be specific this time around, because some people have the challenges of maybe being a commercial bank that is much more conventional. Maybe some people want a special way of maybe accessing their money and giving out their saving their money. Perhaps it could be, you know, now we have some Islamic bank. Maybe the northern part of Nigeria is tilting towards that area, so we can create more